Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Dodge Caravan, specifically the 3.6 liter engine with the 6.2 TE transmission between 2011 to 2016. Just a general conversation about those years specifically with that specific engine, about some of the things that go wrong, some of the things that go right, some of the things that are expensive, and some of the things that are cheap when it comes to parts to fix your Dodge Caravan. I've made many videos on the Dodge Caravan and tried to put so much information in these videos to help you guys and gals when it comes to things happening to them. I really thrive on getting parts, finding parts that are cheaper than having to deal with the dealer or some of the aftermarket parts. I always put in links in the description to where I get my parts from so you guys can get them cheaper and the proper parts for the specific situation that you have. Everything that we talk about in this video today, I'm going to make sure I put links to all the parts down in the description. All you got to do is just click on the more and you'll see all the links will be there. Any information that you need will be down in the description. Sometimes you all say I talk too much in videos. The reason why I do that is because I really try to emphasize on what the problem is, how to fix the problem, why it happened to begin with, and how to fix it and how to get it for cheaper. Sometimes I guess I just talk too much. For that, I'm sorry, and I get a lot of negative comments about that. But you know what? I'm still here and I'm still trying to get you the best deal for the parts you need for your vehicle. I guess the first thing I'm going to talk about with the Dodge Caravan is the big one. I have a video and I'll put it in the link for you there on this topic, and it's, way over 150,000 views. The biggest thing that people have an issue with the 3.6 liter engine between 2011 and 2016 is there is no transmission dipstick. Why that is, well, in my opinion, it's so that you can't check it, so you got to bring it to a garage, and basically the dealer makes money, mechanics make money. You got to drain the transmission fluid, they got to put in the proper amount. You just can't check it. Sometimes you just want to check it and it might be down just a little bit, and as long as you put the ATF4 in and you're good to go. But they just took that transmission dipstick out. Some people say that you can order these dipsticks online. I personally haven't seen that. I just found out a way that you can check the fluid using your oil stick with measurements that you can get online. All you have to do is just go onto Google, and all you have to do is just search for how do I check my transmission fluid in my Dodge Caravan 3.6 liter engine between 2000, or you can just put your specific year of your vehicle. And they actually have diagrams that you can make measurements on your oil stick. Then in turn, you can use your oil stick to check the fluid in that hole. On the driver's side, you look down, there's a little cap that says, I can't remember what that cap's. Anyway, I'll put it in the picture here for you. You just unscrew the little cap that's there, and you use your oil stick, put it down there, and that's how you get your measurements. Once you get your measurements adjusted on the stick using a marker or just scrape it in, once you use the diagram that you download online. So let's talk about some other things with the Dodge Caravan that happen to them frequently. First off, I want to say I love the Dodge Caravan. Those engines are bulletproof. They can last forever as long as you do the regular oil changes, but that's any vehicle. You have to do your oil changes. Let me hit on that topic for a second before I start the second issue with the Dodge Caravan. A lot of people say you don't have to change the oil as they recommend that you can drive your car for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, miles, whatever, and not check your oil. Well, that's incorrect. The reason why you have to change your oil is because it sludges up in the engine. There's little ports, little openings within the engine. I'm not going to get specifically into going where and doing what. That oil has to run through to make the engine run smoothly so you don't hurt your pistons, your rings, your compression rings, scar your cylinder walls, hurt your cam, hurt your crank. There's little holes that transfers oil all around your engine. And once your oil gets so, we'll say, burnt and used, what happens is the oil sludges up and it blocks off some of these portals that have to take oil to certain individual places around your engine. The other aspect of that is it's stress on your oil pump. And if your oil pump fills, well, then there's no oil going around your engine anyway. It's imperative and important that you change your oil. That's one thing we all can't get away from. We all can't get away from the fact that we have to change our oil regularly. And this is coming from me, everyone. This is coming from me. I'm telling you, you have to change your oil. When that oil light comes on, when your vehicle tells you you have to change your oil, or do an oil change, do it within a certain amount of time. That's what's going to make your engine last. I have my caravan. One of my caravans right now is pushing up over 400,000. All my vehicles. My daughter's Honda Civic is almost 500,000, guys. Regular oil changes, doing the proper maintenance on them is important. And that's not a gimmick. That's not a gimmick that the dealer tells you or mechanics tell you. That is an actual fact that you have to do that. Your regular maintenance is important. A lot of people asking me about changing transmission fluid as well. Well, that one, you don't have to change your transmission fluid every time you go in to do an oil change. Now, I've heard that people have said that, but that's, my opinion, false. There comes a time when you should change your transmission fluid, but for me, I do it every couple of years. And honestly, guys, I have vehicles I've never changed the transmission fluid. As long as I smell it, it smells not burnt, and as long as it looks nice and bright red, for me, that's good, still good transmission fluid. But all changes are imperative. When it comes to changing antifreeze in your radiator, well, again, you can test your antifreeze. I'll put it on the window and I'll put it in the description that you can just buy one for so cheap. You can actually buy testers that you test the antifreeze to tell you how good it is and how good of a temperature it can run for. Some cases you may never have to change it. Some cases you may have to change it. It depends on what the measurement of the temperature the antifreeze can run at. Next thing is brake fluid. I'm getting a little bit off here now in everything I wanted to talk about, but this just hit me and I'm just putting it out there. Brake fluid. Again, like if you look at your brake fluid and you take that stopper and you look down in it and it looks clear, smells okay. Most of these things that go inside your vehicle is going to smell bad if it is bad. And as long as your brake fluid is clear and you can see down through it and it's not like cloudy, if it's cloudy and sludgy, it needs to be replaced, and that's a big one. But as long as it looks clear, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it. And, this is basically just all general maintenance anyway. This is just things you check. Usually when you go in for an oil change, you just look around at this, look around at this. For me, I do a look and smell test all the time. I take my fingers, I rub it in the transmission fluid, see it. I always have a problem with this word, viscosity. I think that's what it is. I feel if it's greasy in my fingers, if it's lubricated still, if it feels good, don't smell burnt, looks red, good to go. Brake fluid, as long as it don't look cloudy and it's a little bit thick looking, you're good to go. Antifreeze, as long as it looks, some antifreeze is red, some is green, some is orange, some is clear. As long as it's looking good, doesn't smell terrible, and you put your checker in it and it tells you what temperature it's good for, then you're fine with that too as well. Again, these are all things you would do very quickly within 5 minutes of an oil change. Or you could just do that at home, pop your hood, and you could do these things anyways. Second thing with the Dodge Caravan, that has been an issue, it's happened to me, a lot of people told me it's happened to them, is I call it the shift solenoid, but there's other names for it, and I'm going to put it up here in the window with the name and everything on it for you. Uh, if you own a Dodge Caravan within these years with that 3.6 liter engine, 6.2 TE transmission, a lot of times you start up your van, you put it in drive, you drive away, everything's fine, you're shifting your gears fine. You come to a stop and the vehicle shudders, and then when it completely stops, it shuts off. A lot of times, guys, that's that sensor, and I'm going to put all that information here for you. Shift solenoid sensor. This is a very cheap sensor. I'm going to have it down here in the description, and it's not a big job. On a scale from 1 to 10, for me as a backyard mechanic, I rate it a 2 for me. It's not the bottom pan. It's not the bottom pan on the bottom of the transmission. It's the front facing pan. When you pop up the hood and you look down on the, if you're looking at your vehicle, it's on the right hand side. On the driver's side, you look down, you can see there's a pan and it's sitting like this. You remove that pan, it's right out in front. I have a video here where I replaced mine in my van, very detailed. You can look at that video and it'll show you how to replace that solenoid. And very easy, very simple, but it's a big problem. It could hurt your transmission over time and other things with your vehicle. So, but it's not a big bad job. Now let's talk about other issues. Another issue that I always run into from time to time with my Dodge Caravans is link bushings. Now, link bushings is supposed to stop your vehicle from swaying left to right when you're driving on the highway. It keeps it more stable on the highway. What happens to these bushings on those links? I'll put a picture in the window there for you to look at. What happens to those links are the bushings wear away, and what you end up with is every time you hit a bump in the road or you're on a gravel road, you hear rattling, either from the left front, right rear, left rear, wherever the link bushing is getting bad. That's another common problem for the Dodge Caravans. They tend to wear these link bushings out. They're very cheap, simple, easy to replace, and shouldn't cost that much. And again, I'll put the link down in the description of the link bushings so you can pick them up for the cheapest price that you're going to be able to get them for. Another common issue in the Dodge Caravan, unfortunately, is rotors. Your brake rotors. When it comes to the brake rotors in the Dodge Caravan, they don't wear. It's not a wearing problem. What happens to them is they get hot and they warp. So what happens is you're driving your vehicle, your Dodge Caravan, or any vehicle for that matter. And if you put your foot on the brake and you feel shaking in your wheel, your steering wheel, that's a pure indication that those rotors have warped due to heat. The Dodge Caravans are heavy vehicles, and when you put your foot on the brake, they lean to the front. So more weight goes on the front than the rear. So they tend to eat these wheel bearings up pretty quick. They get hot and warp and cause shaking when braking. This is not a common problem in the rear because, as I said, when you put your foot on the brake, the weight transfers to the front of the vehicle and not the rear. So the rear doesn't have that stress like the front has when braking. So it's more common in the front than what it is the rear. Rotors for Dodge Caravan are expensive. I'll get you the cheapest set that you can find for your Dodge Caravan, and I will have it in the description. And if you're going to buy new rotors, you should buy pads to go along with it, because if the rotor warps, then the pad warps to the shape of the rotor, and you don't want to put new rotors and old pads on your vehicle. And guys, that basically sums it up. I mean, the engines are really good. The transmissions are really good as well. You can't blame a transmission for a shift solenoid. That's not the internal workings of a transmission. The transmissions and engines in those Dodge Caravans, you can get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kilometers, miles, whatever, out of those vans, sending with the transmissions. They used to talk about torque converter lockup situations, but I've never experienced that, and it's not something I see common online. so I'm not even going to address that one. And I see other people talking about door lock issues. The relay is not working in the Windows. So when you push the button on your Windows, not working. I have never ran into this problem. Again, I'm not really going to address that. But I will put links to all those things down there. So basically, guys, a lot of mechanical parts that I can find online for the cheapest price, I'm going to put down in the description for you. So you can click on any of those links and get those parts. And most all cases, the parts between 2013 and 2016, they all fit the same for any specific year of those caravans. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I hope this helps. I'm going to put a lot of links. I'm going to add a lot of things on this video and a playlist so you can go through most everything I've talked about. Well, actually, everything I've talked about, I have a video, even installing brakes on the Dodge Caravan, shift sensors. Most everything I've talked about here today is you can watch a video, and I'll have those playlists showing for you to go look at. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps, and I'll see you on the next one.